This the hottest ticket since the early 90s for this matchup of the Chicago Bulls and the Detroit Pistons. A look at the lineups. The Bulls with that best record in the league at 33-3. Michael Jordan, Ron Harper in the backcourt. Jordan averaging better than 31 points a game, tops in the NBA. Luke Longley, the center, and Scottie Pippen and the former Detroit Piston, Dennis Rodman, on the front line. Phil Jackson, who is now the Bulls' all-time winningest coach, moving ahead of Dick Motta back in early December. And a look at the starting lineup for the hometown Detroit Pistons, who have won 13 of 19 here at the Palace. Young backcourt, Leslie Hunter and Allen Houston. Allen Houston has been on a tear as of late. The center is the rookie from Georgetown, Don Reed. Otis Thorpe and Grant Hill up front for the Pistons, and former Chicago Bulls head coach Doug Collins, now the head man of Detroit, and has done a terrific job turning this franchise around.
You know, Marv, this is a kind of a report card day for the Pistons, who've had a good season so far at 19 and 17. But this is a measuring stick to see how they can do against the best in the league. A meaningful game as far as the crowd getting back here. They have not drawn particularly well. They were spoiled by the championship year. The Bulls, of course, it's important for them. There's always that talk of the 70-win thing. I think they're more concerned that the Orlando Magic are behind them, even though the Magic have had some problems on the road. They know they're there. They know they're going to be a strong foe down the road.
All right, the officials, Dick Pavetta, Paul Mahalik, and Ted Bernhard, as the Bulls control the opening tip. Chicago at 14-3 on the road. The 3 losses have come away from home, and Longley was pushed. The 3 losses suffered by the Bulls took place at Indiana, at Seattle, and at Orlando, but they have won 4 straight on the road. Otis Thorpe called for that foul, and Luke Longley will shoot a pair.
Generally, the Bulls will go inside to Luke early, try to get some offense from him, much as they used to do in the championship days with Bill Cartwright. And they never really know how long Luke's going to be able to play because of foul problems. An interesting little different matchup there with Otis Thorpe guarding Longley, and Reed, the tough physical guy, as you watch Bill Wennington, the backup center who comes in when Luke gets in foul trouble. But putting Don Reed, who's also foul prone, on Dennis Rodman to try to keep him off the glass.
And Don Reed is starting, listed at the center spot at 6'8", 250 pounds, working his way into the starting lineup. So the Bulls with a 2-0 lead. We are just underway in Detroit. Here's Thorpe going at Rodman, off to the double pop. And the tip by Reed. Don Reed, a second-round pick. In fact, the last player chosen in the NBA draft has tied the game at 2. A post-up move by Harper leading to a 3-second violation.
Some interesting defensive matchups to start out. Grant Hill being watched by Michael Jordan. You would expect it to be the other way around. Well, now they're just like the Bulls. They just pick up different people at different times. Now Jordan on Lindsey Hunter, the point guard, which he normally plays against in most situations.
Thorpe posting up. Otis Thorpe in the Piston loss at Indiana on Friday night did not score, preceded by an excellent 25-point game in the win over San Antonio on Thursday. And here's Harper for 3. Ron Harper shooting only 27% from downtown. He is now 10 of 28, and he's given the Bulls a 5-4 lead. Detroit Pistons on Friday night lost at Indiana 89-81. The Pacers jumped in front 19-8 in that game, but the Pistons, strong goal by Reed. Pistons have won 4 of the last 6 and 10 of their last 14 games, while the Bulls with 10 straight wins. Michael Jordan on his first field goal attempt. The Bulls lead by 1.
Michael has been shooting so many jump shots this year and shooting it well. Even when he's in a post position, he'll take the fadeaway jumper, and basically he's conserving his energy for late in the game if he's needed to start slashing and driving to the goal.
Reed. Well, Don Reed with 3 field goals. He's 3 for 3 from the field.
Any kind of scoring you can get from Don Reed is gravy. So far, Luke Longley is getting himself out of position defensively. Lost Don Reed on a tip-in and lost him on 2 screen roll plays.
And now Jordan. Pistons with an 8-7 lead. This is the first of 4 meetings between the Pistons and the Bulls. A glorious rivalry over the years. In fact, the Pistons and the Bulls have combined to win 5 of the last 7 NBA titles. Longley. Nice move by Longley. And the Bulls are up by 1.
And as I mentioned earlier, Don Reed, who's a burly, tough guy inside, he has the job of blocking out Dennis Rodman. Doug Collins wants to neutralize as much as possible.
And Grant Hill showing us the outside touch. Back comes Hill on the turnover.
And Dennis Rodman headed for Pontiac, Michigan there. He saw Otis Thorpe with a head of steam, couple of dribbles, and didn't even think about getting in his way, just wanted to give it up there. So far, Dennis Rodman can't get himself involved in this game, realizing that the Bulls went at him on a couple of post-ups. They want to make him play defense. They don't necessarily believe he's as good a defender as he used to be.
Longley drawing the double team, pops it out. Pippen puts the move on Hill. Rejected as Reed came over to help, kept alive by Longley. Here's Jordan. Pistons 12, the Bulls 11 with 4 minutes gone by.
That was all set up by the penetration of Pippen. Even though he was triple team, he still put the shot up. Good help defense, but that left the opening for Michael Jordan.
Pistons have hit 6 of their first 8 shots. Hill gives it back out for Houston. Chicago Bulls Thursday night come off a victory over the Raptors in Toronto. That is Jordan firing. Rodman missed the tip. And back comes Hunter. Houston and Hunter at the guards. Hill with Reed and Thorpe up front.
This is the playmaker for the Pistons, Grant Hill. He'll either bring the ball out of the backcourt into the front, or when he gets it, he's going to be the playmaker, usually from the middle of the floor, and he's been a terrific creator. Here's Scottie Pippen trying to make Grant Hill work on defense, and terrific help, but by too many people. And then the ball loose to Longley, who found Michael Jordan. But the kind of penetration that people like Grant Hill and Scottie Pippen give you creates opportunities for other people.
Timeout is taken. Pistons by 1. We'll be back at the Palace in a moment. We are joined on the sidelines by the Dean of Sideline Reporting, Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad?
All right, thanks, Mark. The last couple of days I've been hanging around with Michael Jordan, and he is as comfortable and relaxed both on and off the court as he's been in 4 or 5 years, which is evident in his play. Now, I asked him about this rivalry with Detroit, and he said, yes, he does remember the days when they used to beat him up here, but then he went on to quote his father and said that, you know, the sun shines on both sides of the street, and obviously it's big, bright, and sunny on Chicago's side now. Mark?
All right, Ahmad, yes, it is, with that best record of the NBA at 33-3, and that represents the best record in Chicago Bulls franchise history after 36 games. But it's true, Matt, Michael seeming so relaxed. Interesting that he has been emphasizing that he feels that Scottie Pippen right now is the best overall player in the NBA.
And because Scottie's doing so much of the work, it enables him. Lindsey Hunter shooting 41% from beyond the arc, better than he is inside.
And Hooper with the bucket and through the foul. So the Bulls beat the Pistons down court on the transition.
And that's the big thing that Doug Collins was concerned about. Usually Bulls will get that transition from turnovers. This was after a made basket, a made three-pointer no less, and the Pistons just fell asleep in transition defense. No excuse for it, and Doug let his team know about it.
Foul committed by Don Reed. So Ron Harper looking for the three-point play. The Pistons 15 and the Bulls 14. Detroit has won 5 straight at home. 13 up, 6 down here at the Palace. They are in the midst of a stretch, playing 3 games in 4 days. Houston firing. Off-balance jumper by Allen Houston with Ron Harper in his face, and it gives the Pistons a 3-point lead. 6.5 remaining in the first quarter.
A nice defense by Don Reed on the screen roll. He strung it out very nicely to make the Bulls have to settle for that kind of shot. But Michael has been so comfortable with that jump shot because he takes so many, 22 a game, and you figure he shoots 8 free throws. So he's really shooting about 26 shots a game. When you take that many, you're going to get comfortable.
And he's hit 3 of 5 for 6 points here at the start. Pistons lead by 1. Grant Hill called for steps. You know, he hesitated a moment, but he thought he might have gotten away with it. Actually, I had the feeling he was anticipating the whistle, and then Dick Bavetta did blow the whistle.
And I think he fooled himself. He didn't realize that he had Pippen beat so easily, and he likes to go to his left. He had him beat, and he came back, and that's why he walked.
And now Pippen with the jump shot. So the Bulls lead by 1. Scottie Pippen with his first field goal.
So important for the Pistons to control the tempo, not get into an up and down kind of game, take their fast breaks when they're there, but here they're just chewing up clock. Usually they like to get some more ball movement than this, moving it side to side to make the other team defend, but using up that clock has been very successful for the Pistons this year.
Well, as a result, they allow only 93 points per game. That's second in the NBA behind Cleveland. Pippen. Rodman not able to handle the pass. Threw a look away to Dennis Rodman. Certainly the slow-down style of the Pistons contributes to the 93 points per game allowed. But a year ago, this is a team that gave up nearly 106 points per game. Houston off the fake. 5 minutes to go in this first quarter. The Bulls by 1 with the ball. Hunter telling Harper, take the shot.
Yeah, because you're not going to be in that much longer. You only play 21 minutes a game.
Longley, yes, and it counts. So Luke Longley will go to the line. Reed called for his second.
Well, the Bulls like to go inside to Longley, especially now with a smaller player like Don Reed, although Thorpe and Reed have been taking turns with Rodman and Longley. And when Luke Longley is aggressive offensively, takes it strong, you notice, though, he doesn't finish real strong. It's generally just a flip shot. And in many cases, he'll miss those little lay-ins or get them blocked. And the Bulls just need a certain amount from Longley. They need good presence on defense, clog the middle, make a couple of shots, stay away from the careless foul.
And he's opened up with 7 points in this first quarter. Mark West, the 13-year veteran, has come on now for the rookie Don Reed. Reed had picked up 2 fouls, leads with 6 points. And he is hacked. Beautiful change of pace dribble by Grant Hill. And that will put him at the line. Fouled by Dennis Rodman.
You can see that he prefers going to his left whenever he can, and he does, Marv, have that nice little hop off the dribble, almost Penny Hardaway-ish, that they can explode with a little extra step while dribbling the ball. It's something I don't think that can be taught. It's something that just is in you.
And Grant way off on that first free throw attempt. A 74% shooter at the line. It is just the start of things. Big day here on NBC. Will be followed by the second half of our doubleheader. Orlando playing the Rockets in Houston and the Bob Hope Chrysler Classic. Bulls 21 and the Pistons 18. Now Jordan posting up. And he was hit. Foul committed by Allen Houston. His first.
Now the Bulls are the only team in the league that runs their posts up and pick and rolls out of their triangle offense. They like to get some ball movement first, have a couple of people touch it. As Doug Collins giving some defensive instructions to Grant Hill, giving for this particular offensive play, calling the cross. But they move the ball around, and then we'll get a flash post, where most teams in the league will just make one pass and then one more pass to get to a post-up, get to it quickly, because generally a double team will come, and then you get 2 more passes for an open shot.
We were talking with Michael prior to the game, and I know Chicago papers had the story earlier in the week, chatting about the fact that he says he wants to stay and play in Chicago 3 more seasons, but only if Scottie Pippen is still on the team, and only if Phil Jackson is coaching the team.
And only if he's making 20 or 25 million a year.
He didn't bring that aspect up.
Okay. I'm sure it'll come up later.
Illegal defense called. Well, he's a guy that will obviously never get his true value with the way salaries have skyrocketed in the NBA. The hand is for Joe Dumars, who comes on for Lindsey Hunter.
And Doug knows he's going to have to get some minutes and some production from Joe Dumars. They have to make Michael Jordan work on defense.
Thorpe with the rebound, puts it up. Little bit out. Rebound West, rejected by Longley. 3-on-2 for the Bulls. Harper. Beautiful play by Dumars to break it up in last touch by Harper.
Not a good sign for the Pistons with Otis Thorpe having all kinds of problems getting off the floor. Terrific defensive play there by Longley as Mark West, who likes to use that left hand inside, used to make that shot with more frequency.
Pistons have missed their last 5 shots. Hill. Beautifully done. The spinning move by Grant Hill, his second field goal. He has 5 points, and the Bulls now lead 23-20. 3:25 to go in this first quarter. Shot clock at 7. Longley showing us the sweeping hook. And a loose ball foul charged to Thorpe.
Talking to Grant Hill before the game, way before the game, he was out taking some shooting practice, talking about his jump shot. He said, that little shot right there, he said, I know I had that. He said, but I know I can beat my man off the dribble, and I love to drive the ball to goal. I was saying, Grant, teams are going to just keep backing off you, and make you take that shot. When it's there, you've got to take it. They got to make them respect you, make them come up and play you. There's Reggie Theus behind Phil Jackson. Reggie needs to get some more jobs.
Yes. One-time member of the Chicago Bulls. Matt, you're checking the crowd now? Otis Thorpe sitting down. This is Tony Kukoc coming on for the first time. Thorpe had picked up a second foul, and he's replaced by Terry Mills. Terry Mills these days coming off the bench. Ron Harper sits down, leads with 6 points. The Bulls lead 24-20.
Full court trap now by the Bulls, showing it after the free throw line. Doug Collins was worried about this as to how they would handle it. Just a token one. Back in the days of Horace Grant with the Chicago Bulls, that trap meant something. They would really get after you, make it tough to complete a pass. They don't have that anymore.
Was able to bust through, but could not convert. 2:59 remaining first quarter. Bulls calling for time. They lead by 4.
Akeem meets Shaq in a rematch of last year's NBA Finals. Next on NBC.
Well, the Chicago Bulls with a record of 33-3, best record in the league as they gun for a record 70. Now, how good is this team? We asked that of Coach Phil Jackson.
They seem to play beyond the level of what the duress of the season is, and find a level in each and every game in which they just bring a chance to win every game. Even in the games that we've lost, the 3 games we've lost, have been a chance to win at the end of each game. We have an opportunity even to be whatever, at this level of this season with the opportunities that we've had in each and every game we've played.
Well, Phil's saying this club could be undefeated at this point at 36-0. The 1967 Philadelphia 76ers went 68-13. The 1972 LA Lakers went 69-13. Throwing up a facial, and the Bulls now lead 24-22. The 67 Philadelphia 76ers. The Sixers of Matt Guokas.
I led them all the way.
A fellow by the name of Will Chamberlain.
He helped.
Hal Greer and Chet Walker and Luke Jackson. Wally Jones, Billy Cunningham. Not a bad group. Well, Rob Harper back on the floor, and he is off to a fast start. 8 points for Harper. Bulls up by 4.
Well, anytime Terry Mills comes out on the floor, he's out there primarily for offense, but when he's made some terrible defensive plays already in just a few seconds, and when the defense breaks down, Doug Collins gets upset with Terry Mills, and that costs him minutes.
And he's called for the 22nd timeout. You can see Doug is upset. Talking about the Philadelphia 76ers of 67 and the 72 Lakers at 69-13. The Lakers of Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, Gail Goodrich, Jim McMillan, Happy Hairston. A look at that 72 Laker team. In fact, number 11 on the back, Jim Clement's now an assistant coach for the Chicago Bulls, and I see number 14 right in the center, a very youthful-looking Matt Gukas.
You know, Marv, if they had weight training for basketball back in those days, I would have been a lot better off.
Actually, might have turned your life around, on and off the court. Bulls by 4. Harper with the steal. Harper took it away from Houston. Here's Kukoc.
In the first quarter.
Rodman for Pippen. And Kukoc for 3. Tony Kukoc firing from downtown, and the Bulls now lead by 7. Doug Collins making a change during that 22nd timeout. He's brought on a rookie from Wyoming, Theo Ratliff, who is primarily a shot blocker at this point. Minute and a half remaining in this first quarter.
And a good shot blocker. They call him the Rattler. Doug thinks he's going to lead the league in shot blocking before it's over.
And a loose ball foul called against the Pistons. And it is on Ratliff. Theo Ratliff, first-round draft pick from Wyoming. Now, here's a guy, when he began college, he was 170 pounds. He's up to about 230. It will be Michael Jordan to the line. The other night against Toronto, before 36,000 incidentally at the Sky Dome. Michael with 38 points. He had 15 in the fourth quarter. He's been on a roll over the last 4 games. He's averaging 41 points per game.
Yeah, those records of the great teams in the history of the league. And I think with all of them and other great teams, they have that ability to turn it on at just the right time. As Michael misses 2 there, but they can turn it on for a 3 or 4 minute stretch and wipe out the middle of the road teams and the poor teams. They can't do it against the good teams, however.
Houston, wild shot, but tipped home. And Mills receiving credit. A bullet pass thrown by Pippen, who gets it back, shooting the 3. And Joe Dumars is on it. Joe Dumars, the last remaining player from the back-to-back Detroit championship teams of the late 1980s, and these days coming off the bench.
And he says that it was his idea to try to help the ball club. I think he and Doug talked it over. That's Terry Mills' shot.
Down to a half minute remaining in this first quarter. Pippen twisting his way and came up with error. Oh, the steal by Harper. Pippen putting moves on and tries to foul. He had Ratliff backpedaling, and Ratliff commits his second.
Well, Ron Harper, I think, is an underrated defensive player. Really has always been a good one. Of course, he had the ACL problems a few years ago with the Clippers, but this is the second time that Ron Harper has taken the ball away from a careless Allen Houston. And against this Bulls team, you cannot be careless, because this is what they'll do to you. Strike quickly after a turnover, and that's why the Bulls are who they are. They're not as good a defensive team as they were in the championship years, but they're better than anybody else in the league right now.
Scottie Pippen shooting only 66% from the line. 18 seconds to go in this first quarter. Chicago by 7. Some pressure being shown by the Bulls. Eluded by Houston. Down to 10. Checking the clock. Down to 5 as he goes at Rodman. Was rejected by Harper, so the Pistons not able to get off the shot. And after 1, here at the Palace, it's the Bulls 31 and the Pistons 24. Michael Jordan, 3 of 6 from the field, 8 points. And Grant Hill with 3 of 6 for 7. We'll be right back.
Ford Credit. This is the NBA on NBC.
All right, Marv, you saw Ron Harper just getting some ice put on. He got a contusion to his leg. He actually hit his leg on a camera trying to chase that ball out of bounds, but he was coming out of the game anyway. They're just icing it, and he is available. Marv?
Ron Harper with a good start, 8 points, 1 steal, 1 block in that opening quarter.
No, Mark, tempo is so important to the Detroit Pistons, especially against a good team. They have to keep the score down. They've got to hang around, give themselves a chance to win down the stretch. The Pistons took 24 shots in that first quarter, making 11. So they're on pace to shoot it 96 times. That kind of tempo will certainly favor the Chicago Bulls, and the Pistons would not be in the game. They've got to get back, control the pace of this game.
All right, second quarter is underway, and the Bulls are up 31-24. Otis Thorpe is back. Ratliff with Mills and Thorpe up front. Dumars and Hill at the guard. Thorpe fighting off a double team.
Well, that's the way the ball game started. Going inside of Thorpe, got a couple of hoops, and if you have to double team him, that'll open up shots for the three-point shooters, Joe Dumars and Terry Mills.
As you saw, Michael Jordan getting a rest. Michael with 8 points in the first quarter. Here is Kukoc. The Detroit Pistons at 19-17. They have won 4 of their last 6 games. They have a very difficult schedule ahead. Harper again with the good hands. Wednesday they start a 4-game road trip at San Antonio. The Pistons beat the Spurs here this past Thursday night by 2 points, followed by games at Dallas, Houston, and then Utah. Ratliff block. Again, the excellent defensive play by Ron Harper.
He is putting on a clinic on the ball, off the ball, just making things happen with deflections and steals.
Here's Kerr, who just checked in. 3-second violation on Rodman.
I said earlier about the Bulls being the best defensive team in the league. I said, well, wait a minute. Cleveland gives up 93. The Pistons give up 94. That's not necessarily great defense. That's a good, slow-tempo offense to cut down on possessions. The Bulls do it to you at both ends. Ron Harper just playing outstanding defense, and he makes his presence felt, even though he only plays those 21 minutes a game.
Thorpe again facing the double team. Nice pass for Ratliff. The basket counts. And a foul.
Oh, Dennis Rodman must hate this. That's 2 times in a row now that the Pistons have had to come down, or I should say the Bulls, to come down and double team on Thorpe. In the old days, Dennis Rodman would not want anybody to help him out defensively, but Thorpe has been taking advantage of him inside, so they have to come with a double. Good look by Thorpe to find the open Ratliff.
Foul was committed by Kukoc. Dennis Rodman with rebound number 6. And the Bulls with a 31-28 lead on the Pistons. Bulls trying to set up Kerr. Picked up on the switch. And Dumars got a hand on it. Substitution, Lindsey Hunter getting set. Check in, being waved down. And now the Pistons go smaller as Hunter replaces Ratliff. Lindsey Hunter in his 3rd season out of Jackson State, who comes off a broken foot injury, missed 41 games last season with a broken right foot. Did come back to play the last couple of months of the year. Harper, that was a 3-point attempt, just to beat the 24-second buzzer.
Good job by Terry Mills to keep Rodman off the glass there. The Bulls comfortable with a small team right now. The Pistons just do not have any big men, big centers that are going to do a lot of damage, so they can get away with having a guy like Kukoc as the biggest guy on the floor.
Dumars for 3. Air ball. Look out. Both Pistons and Hill go down. No foul indicated. And a timeout has been called with 9:44 left. First half.
Shaq and the Magic take on Akeem and the Rockets next on NBC.
Hey,
What's up?
Oh, thanks for stopping, Bob. I've been waiting out here forever. You just passed me. I'm out of gas.
Your car is still running.
Weird, huh?
Very.
It's in flames!
I don't think so.
But I love you, man.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down,
You're not getting the Bud Light.
make it a Bud Light.
Where's the love, man?
Years ago, I started an account with this bank. The next thing I know, they merged with another bank, and poof, their name disappears. Then the new bank merges with another bank.
C is brought to you by Bud Light, official sponsor of the 1996 Olympic Summer Games. Make it a Bud Light. By the Citibank card. Got your Citibank card? And by Honda, who offers an impressive family of cars, sport utility vehicles, and minivans.
Welcome back to the Palace of Auburn Hills, where the Bulls lead the Pistons 31-28. Doug Collins talking to his club. Doug Collins and Grant Hill have had a long time relationship, but now Doug is Grant's head coach. We talked about that with Grant.
I knew Doug from playing with his son, Chris, in college, and, you know, he was always the father of a teammate of mine, and all of a sudden he's my coach. And so, you know, at first it was a little, you know, adjustment period for him to get used to us and for us to get used to him, because last year, you know, it was really a laid-back approach, very quiet, and now it's, you know, if you mess up, he's going to let you know.
And Doug is as demanding of Grant Hill as anybody, and as a coach, when you can get on your star, generally everybody else goes along with it as well. So that has really helped the relationship and helped the coaching situation with the rest of the club.
And Scottie Pippen buries the three-pointer. He now has 7. Bulls lead 34-28. Michael Jordan is back on the floor. Pressure again by Pippen.
The Bulls very much aware that Grant Hill taking charge now as far as slowing things down. If you heard Doug earlier say, Grant, take your time, get into it slowly, but then get into it down to 5 seconds.
And Mills, in making the catch on that lead pass, stepped on the baseline.
Well, you want to take your time, but you want to get some ball movement from side to side, make the defense shift. You don't want to keep it in one man's hands and throw it away on the baseline with no attack at all.
3 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Mark Albert, Matt Gugas, and Ahmad Rashad from the Palace. Wild shot thrown up by Pippen. Jordan was looking for Pippen. And back comes Hunter. Pistons for an instant had a thought about running.
4-on-4, but no real opening there. Smart play by Lindsey Hunter, who is really not a point guard. He's more of a fader, a shooter. Grant Hill is the point guard on this team.
And here is Hunter shooting. He's been hitting from downtown. It cuts into a 3-point Bulls lead. Pippen fires it up.
A couple of bad shots now by Scottie Pippen, not really getting anything going. And he is, in effect, the point guard for the Chicago Bulls. He either has to get them into their offense or certainly get a better shot than that.
And here's Mills for 3. The Pistons have become a good three-point shooting team, so they have been throwing them up from all angles. It'll be Chicago ball. They are 2 of 6 from downtown in this first half. Luke Longley making his way back. Judd Bushler will come on. Allen Houston is back. Mark West will come on, so both clubs shuffling. Terry Mills and Grant Hill back to the bench. Hill with 9 points, leading the Pistons.
Well, Phil Jackson, of course, has the luxury of when Pippen is out, Jordan is always in. Same thing the other way, and then you throw a Tony Kukoc in there. He always has 2 very talented players who can create for other people.
Bushler. And Hunter walks it up in very deliberate.
Well, Doug at the traffic cop out there went up to the hash mark, put up 2 hands. Stop, hold. He knows that his team can't play a 95, 100, 105-point game against these Bulls and win it. It's got to be in the 80s or very low 90s for the Pistons to win.
Shot clock down at 2. Houston. Otis Thorpe on the follow.
Well, for a couple of minutes there, it looked like Otis had lost his legs, but that's been the most effective weapon for the Pistons. The inside move to Thorpe, either drawing a double team and getting an open shot, or a play like that.
Chicago by 1. Jordan. 3-on-2 going, and the Bulls stopped the ball by committing a foul. Called on Jordan.
So Otis Thorpe on Thursday night against San Antonio, big game, 25 points, 13 rebounds. The next night against Indiana, zip, no points, 6 rebounds. And I was talking to Doug yesterday. He said, I just looked at him before the game, knew he had no gas in the tank. So that's Otis Thorpe at 33. Can't do it every night, but he has been a godsend for the Pistons this year to give them some toughness, some rebounding, and an inside presence.
Pistons have outscored the Bulls 9-3 here in the second quarter. Hunter, and able to come up with the ball on the other side.
Dug up again. Stop Hodel. That was a nice move by Lindsey Hunter, but that's why he shoots about 38% in two-pointers. He doesn't really finish with authority, takes a lot of wild shots going to the hoop.
And a foul called on Longley. A holding foul. Timeout taken with 6:31 remaining in this first half. Bulls with a 1-point lead.
That'd be a window or aisle. Sir, window. Aisle seat.
Your final boarding call.
Well, at least you know where to sit when you get home. The Accord Coupe from Honda. Possibly the world's easiest decision.
Right now, there's an even better reason to come into McDonald's, because you can get a big beefy quarter pounder with cheese for only 99 cents.
Hey, thanks. Come back soon.
And people are coming from everywhere.
Hey, Ernie.
Roger?
Quarter pounders with cheese for only 99 cents for a very limited time, so hurry. Have you had your break today?
It started when you picked up your first ball. You were learning. Learning how to dribble, how to shoot. But there was more. Things that weren't as much fun, but just as important. Things that made a difference. You learned so much about this game. You even learned to love it. And just when you thought you knew it all, you learned a little more.
Who gets those precious Super Bowl tickets? How do the refs get ready for the big game? How do those logos get on the field? Go behind the scenes at Super Bowl 30 next Saturday on NBC.
Well, coming up next, it'll be Game 2 of our NBA on NBC doubleheader. Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway lead the Orlando Magic in a rematch of last season's NBA Finals. They'll travel to Houston, going up against Clyde and Akeem and the two-time defending world champion Houston Rockets. Orlando at 28-10 and Houston at 27-12. Shaquille averaging just under 28 per game, 10 rebounds. Akeem at 25.6 and 11 rebounds per game.
And a rematch of that great game that we had on Christmas night when the Magic pulled it out 92-90 on that last-second heroics of Penny Hardaway against Mario Elie. And Elie will be out for 6 to 8 weeks with that broken wrist. And the trade rumors in Houston now, Charles Barkley, those rumors will not go away. Charles won't let them, I don't think.
Has Charles suggested that trade?
And the Magic Johnson rumors won't go away. I don't know. They're non-denials, denials. It's a lot of fun.
All right, Mark West looking for position on Luke Longley. 3-second.
3-second violation against
We're hoping to see Charles back in action next Sunday for the NBC game with the Phoenix Suns and the Chicago Bulls in Chicago.
Could you picture Charles, Drexler, and Hakeem? Will remind you of Chamberlain, West, and Baylor.
I was thinking of Chamberlain, Cunningham, and Gukas myself. Kukoc. And the Bulls now lead 36-33. Tony Kukoc with 5 points. Doug Collins with the 3-guard alignment. He has Dumars, Hunter, and Houston with Thorpe and West up front. And the foul on Kukoc, his second.
I asked Doug, what's this with the tie thing? No tie, either wearing the mock turtles or the button-up. He said, since I left broadcasting, I can't afford ties.
Oh, I see. Very, very chic by Doug. A man who's made the transition back to coaching from television, spent the last 6 years as a color commentator with TNT. Houston coming up with air on the scoop, and here is Kerr, chased by Hunter, who gets the block. Now Kerr, rebounded by Thorpe. Well, Steve Kerr with a second opportunity.
Yeah, well, Steve gets about 1 or 2 breakaways a year, and you can see how nervous he was looking over his shoulder. A little tough for Steve in the open floor to outrun anybody, in particular a floor burner like Lindsey Hunter.
Thorpe. A lunging shot by Thorpe was able to hit off glass. He has 10 points along with 5 rebounds, and it brings the Pistons within 1. Here's Kerr for 3. Steve Kerr with his first field goal. He is 3rd in the NBA in three-point field goal percentage, just under 50%.
I don't know if you noticed the rotation on that. I don't think Steve Kerr thought that one was going in. That went up a little bit knuckleball fashion. Steve was the most surprised guy in the building for that to drop.
And Dumars with the foot on the line. Bulls with the ball and a 4-point lead as we come up on 4 minutes to go in this first half. Jordan for 3. For the most part of this first half, it has been a jump shooting festival for Michael Jordan. He now has 11 points. He's hit on 4 of 8.
Just by pushing the ball up the floor by the Bulls, it got the Pistons out of whack defensively, had mismatches, and that's why Jordan was so wide open against a big man at the top.
And now Jordan pushing it down. Dick Pavetta with the whistle away from the ball, foul on the Pistons.
Steve Kerr on the fly pattern, looked over his shoulder, knew he was in trouble, tried the reverse to avoid getting blocked. Terrific defensive play by Hunter. And here, this shot a little bit off to the side of Steve. It didn't look like his normal shot. He will be in the three-point shooting contest at the All-Star break.
Piston foul was called on Mark West. Dennis Rodman is back on the floor. Rodman with Longley and Pippen up front. Jordan and Kerr at the guards. Here is Jordan using the pick. So Michael with 13, and the Bulls open up the lead. 44-35.
It looked like the Pistons had gotten back into this thing by slowing it down so much, but the Bulls are trying to pick up the tempo a little more pressure defense, more forcing the action to get their style of play going.
8-0 run by Chicago. Foul called on Pippen.
Foul is on Scottie Pippen. That's a second.
And that is number 2 on Pippen.
Nice play by Grant Hill. Very veteran type of situation there. Knew he had Pippen at his mercy, just putting it hard to a spot. Nice little pivot move, and once he had Scottie Pippen out of position, wanted to just make sure he drew the foul. Those will be the starting forwards for the Eastern Conference in the All-Star game, as they were last year.
Well, Doug Collins feels that Grant Hill merely scratched the surface last season. Not in terms of the numbers, which certainly are up this year, but in all phases of the game. He did start in the All-Star game last year. He shared Rookie of the Year honors with Jason Kidd of the Dallas Mavericks, but he feels that there have been great strides already in this second season of the NBA. Jordan to the fadeaway, coming up short, air ball.
He looking around at referee Dick Pavetta. He couldn't believe that he didn't get a whistle there, although he didn't bark too loud, so I think he realized it was a bad shot.
Now Thorpe posting against Rodman, feeling for him. Goes to the fadeaway.
Under pressure again, Otis Thorpe starting to force things a little bit. The Pistons are not getting good looks at the basket right now. Give most of the credit to the Bulls' pressure defense.
Longley for Rodman, fouled by Houston.
And Dennis Rodman very upset with Allen Houston there. He thought that Houston tried to whack him across the face, which he did, to stop that layup.
Red Dog better tasting premium beer? Well, yeah. It's brewed without any fancy gimmicks by Plank Road to be gold, bold, and uncommonly smooth. But hey, it's your call.
We designed the new Acura TL series to provide you with so much comfort you'll be constantly reminded you're in a luxury car. And then we gave it an incredible lease offer that allows you to enjoy the rest of life's luxuries. Because after all, driving a luxury car should mean not having to compromise on anything. Lease rates as low as $369 a month with 0 down are now available on the TL series.
Some people are doing more business than ever on Fridays.
The Denver deal doable, Donnie?
Good. Help your business do more business with Sprint's amazing offer. For 1 full year, Fridays are free.
No, I'll call you back. It's Friday.
Every long-distance call you make on Fridays is free. The rest of the week, you get Sprint's great low-flat rate.
Okay, Sue, I'll call you next Friday.
Call now. 1-800-598-5000. Don't miss another free Friday. Only from Sprint Business.
Nancy Kerrigan, Torville and Dean, Christy Yamaguchi, Brian Boitano, and more. The NutraSweet World Pro Figure Skating Championship starting Friday night on NBC.
Payne Stewart has a share of the lead, but Fred Couples and a top field are in hot pursuit. Final round coverage of the Bob Hope Chrysler Classic today on NBC.
Hi, Bob Costas in New York, and coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report, we'll bring you my conversation with the Pistons' Grant Hill. He talks about his image, about becoming a leader on this Pistons team, and about Michael Jordan. We'll also get the thoughts of Julius Erving and Peter Bessie on the remarkable season the Bulls have put together thus far. Right now, they lead the Pistons 44-37. We go back to the Palace to rejoin Marv, Matt, and Ahmad.
Thank you, Bob. Dennis Rodman about to go to the foul line as he took that hit from Allen Houston. Now, to this point, it has certainly worked out extremely well for Dennis Rodman with the Bulls in Chicago. We asked the difference that he has found between playing for San Antonio and Chicago.
In San Antonio, the situation wasn't, right for the Spurs. And in Chicago, you got a big attraction with Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan. And what I do is totally, just minimal. So it hasn't been any different than last year. It's just that Bob here and Popovich made a big deal out of that Dennis Rodman is like the outcast. He's doing this, doing that. But when I do something in the game in Chicago, Phil just sits over there and laughs because he knows that it's just nothing but a little show.
Marv, so nice of you to lend Dennis your hat for that interview. The platinum blonde was messing with the lights.
Well, he said he was cold. Dennis Rodman, who feels that Phil Jackson has had just the right approach as he sits back with a grin.
Well, we still see Jack Haley, his pal from the San Antonio Spurs. He's sitting right on the bench with the Bulls in street clothes, and during timeouts, he's listening to the coaches, kind of translating and going over to talking to Rodman, bringing him into the huddle, so that's still a factor.
Jack on the injured list with a knee ailment. Bulls by 8 with 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Walters with a strong move set up by Rodman.
Beautiful. And Rodman seeing the floor so well. He had 10 assists in his triple-double the other night against Philadelphia. And that's the way the Bulls want Luke Longley to finish plays, with authority.
Grant Hill drew the foul. How about that triple-double the other day against Philadelphia for Dennis Rodman? His first ever. Also hit a three-point shot, and you can see the passing ability there as he spotted Luke Longley.
And Dennis, in his Detroit days, was a decent three-point shooter. He just does not like a lot of elements of the offensive game. He just is so into rebounding that it's even affected his defense. Doesn't like to go out on the floor and defend pick and roll. Doesn't like to chase people on the floor, which he used to do. He used to play Michael Jordan as a guard. He wants to hang around that basket and get as many rebounds as he can. And if he had enough games or rebounds, he'd be leading the league with his average of about 15.
Well, no way was this all supposed to work out. Many thought it would be only a matter of time before Dennis Rodman would be a distraction. Instead, it's been the opposite, and he has been an enormous favorite at the United Center. Dennis telling us it's the most fun he's had since his glory days here with the Pistons. Jordan, yes, and the foul.
Fouls on Joe Dumars. His first team score.
Well, Michael just spending a lot of time on the perimeter here, eyeing Joe Dumars as if he was going to drive to the basket, and you still always have to respect the drive of Michael and make him beat you from the outside. But this is why playing 38 minutes a game is much easier for Michael Jordan right now. Just taking a lot of jump shots, letting Pippen do a lot of the ball handling work, the floor play, letting Rodman do a lot of the rebounding, and Michael has become almost exclusively a scorer. Now, he'll do some defending and turn it on when he has to, but he's shooting it.
16 points for Jordan. The Bulls with their biggest lead. They're up by 12. We're approaching 1 minute remaining. In the Pippen. Rodman gets it back. And here's Jordan. He was met by West, was upset. Felt he was taken down.
He turned around and pointed to Mark West, not happy with the new rules now and flagrant fouls. And that, in the old days, this would just be a normal play. But here, Mark West trying to take the charge, but he leaned in, and by leaning in through that hip into Michael's hip. But I think the Bulls are sensing that the Pistons are trying to get a little bit too aggressive. We saw earlier Allen Houston take a whack, a hard one, at Dennis Rodman. And, you don't think of Allen Houston as a physical player. In fact, the knock on him early was that he was soft, but he's becoming tougher and tougher. But that's not what's going on in the league right now. People aren't taking those cheap shots as they used to maybe 3-4 years ago.
And now Mark West sitting down as Jordan hits on both. And the Bulls lead 52-38. I thought West just caught him wrong.
He did. I don't think he was trying to take a charge and leaned in. Joe Dumars telling us yesterday with the old Jordan rules was, if Michael went to the basket and you had the Bill Laimbeer, Rick Mahorn, Sally Rodman guys, they were supposed to hit him hard. So maybe there's still some Jordan rules left.
And the foul on Longley, that is 3 on Longley. Mark West in his 13th NBA season, beginning his career with Dallas, then Milwaukee, on to Cleveland, Phoenix, spent 6.5 years with the Phoenix Suns. This is second year with the Detroit Pistons. And Otis Thorpe to the line.
We talked about the pace of the game, the shots taken by the Pistons, averaging 75 shots a game. They took 24 in the first quarter, only 15 in this second quarter, as obviously Doug Collins talking to his team during those timeouts, saying, guys, the only way we're going to have a chance here is just try to water torture these guys, make them play defense, use some clock. We're just going to have to make some shots and stay in this game.
It worked for a while, but the Bulls on a run, a 16-4 spurt. And they now lead by 13 points. Bill Wennington on the floor for the first time, replacing Luke Longley. Good half for Longley. He has 9 points. Here is Jordan, this time off the mark. But another 24 for the Bulls. Wennington setting the pick for Kukoc. Jordan, yes! Michael Jordan hitting the floor, but hitting the jump shot. He's 7 of 13. He has 20 points, and the Bulls lead by 15. We're down to 10 seconds left in the first half. Here is Thorpe. Hill threw it out, did not realize time was running down. So the Bulls with a 54-39 lead on the Pistons. Jordan with 12 of his 20 in the second quarter. Coming up, the Prudential halftime report with Bob Costas right after these messages.
This isn't just any sport utility vehicle. It's the first one from a luxury car maker. With heated seats, retractable mirrors, and power moonroof. The new Acura SLX. It's the most civilized way to leave civilization.
NBC tonight. Live at 8, 7 Central, the 53rd Annual Golden Globe Awards, the one award show that sets the stage for all the rest. The biggest stars of film and television gather in one place to honor the best. Who will win on Hollywood's biggest night?
Thank you very much.
The 53rd Annual Golden Globe Awards, live, 8, 7 Central, NBC tonight.
This is the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by Prudential. Live well, make a plan, be your own rock.
Halftime at the Palace of Auburn Hills, the Bulls leading the Pistons 54-39. Bob Costas in New York with Dr. J and Peter Vesey. The Bulls and the Pistons have reached halftime, but far more interestingly, the season is just about at the halfway point, and the Bulls have only 3 defeats. A lot of people are talking about the possibility of an unprecedented 70 victories.
They might do it, Bob. This is no mirage. These guys are having a great season. I think it starts with Phil Jackson, a philosopher, a strategist, an excellent manager, certainly a great basketball coach. And then you got to go right to Michael Jordan. Michael's off-season preparation was as great as it could be. He had his own court out in L.A. He brought guys in from all over the country to work him out. He came into camp in peak condition, and this is an example of leadership by example, and I think Michael's the best guy all time in terms of being a leader by example.
Peter.
We all know what happens when Michael Jordan has something to prove, and he wants to prove he's the best. Scottie Pippen is happy. Dennis Rodman is on his best behavior, playing for his contract. Phil Jackson is playing for his contract, his coaching one. Coupled with the fact that this league is watered down, I look for the Bulls to win 79 games this year. But having said that, Bulls owner Jerry Reinsdorf told me that he's worried about going up against the Magic in a 7-game series because of the domination of Shaquille O'Neal in the middle. He needs all 3 centers healthy so they can foul him 18 times, so James Edwards better get healthy quickly.
And 79 wins should be a simple trick. They just need to win their next 46 straight, counting today. From the good to the bad, let's move to the Phoenix Suns, the team that fired Coach Paul Westphal this past week and replaced him with Cotton Fitzsimmons. They're 14-21 and crumbling with all the injuries. Danny Manning, Kevin Johnson, Hot Rod Williams, and Charles Barkley have all been out at least the last 2 weeks. Manning, in fact, hasn't played at all this season. Pete, what's the timetable for their returns?
Well, Kevin Johnson and Charles Barkley might play tonight against Sacramento. If not, they'll both be playing on that 7-game road swing that starts in Indianapolis on Tuesday. Danny Manning came back the day that Paul Westphal got fired. He's going in a half-court thing for 2 weeks. Then he'll reevaluate his progress at that time. The biggest question mark is Hot Rod Williams. He was ready to play big time back at Christmas. He had a setback. He's got nerve damage from an auto accident, so we don't know when he'll be back.
Prior to this season, in the 3 previous seasons, Paul Westphal won more games than any coach in the NBA. Did he get a fair shake?
I don't think so. I think Paul is definitely the scapegoat here. I don't think any of our NBA's Hall of Fame coaches could have gotten more wins under these dire circumstances, but I think Westy will return to the league as a coach.
Okay, a reminder that after the Bulls and the Pistons, we've got the Orlando Magic and Houston Rockets in their 2nd meeting of the season. Penny Hardaway won the Christmas Day game with a last-second basket. And then it's the final round of the Bob Hope Chrysler Classic. Payne Stewart shot a 63 yesterday to grab a share of the lead. Freddie Couples just 1 shot back. And up next, my conversation with the Pistons' Grant Hill. But first, we'll step aside for these messages.
I am a grandfather that takes pleasure in doing anything I can for the kids, and they know it too. I've never been rich and never really wanted to be. I just feel you should live comfortably, but you don't need to be a fool about it. And I try to impart that to my grandchildren. You've got to have a goal and an aim in life in order to get anywhere.
Here you go.
Thanks.
I travel a lot, but you don't have to play in the NBA to visit new places and meet new people. All you have to do is pick up a book, because when you know how to read, adventures come to you.
Today's story is Little Shaq Horner.
So no matter who you are or what you plan to do, learn how to read. It opens up a whole new world.
Shaq is a big dog.
It's a good thing he doesn't play basketball.
Фирма по продаже колготок. Прекрасно. С тех пор, как я позвонила в IBM. IBM? Ага. Все девочки это делают. У IBM есть чудный способ заглядывать в ваши данные и добывать миллионы идей. Называется Data Mining. Data Mining?
The NBA is at your fingertips at NBA.com. You have the computer, you've accessed the internet, now log on to NBA.com for all you want to know about the NBA. 24 hours a day, you can check out game schedules, plus player stats and stories from around the league. That's any team, anytime. And NBA on the Air tells you where to tune in for all the action. NBA.com. Log on and get connected to the NBA.
Last year, Grant Hill was voted the NBA's co-rookie of the year along with Jason Kidd of Dallas. This year, Hill has gotten better, as have the Pistons under Doug Collins. Earlier this week, I spoke with Hill.
We got some footage of a high school game where your team was down 15 points with only a few minutes to go, and then you go on a personal 16-0 run. Remember?
Yeah. Where did you find that tape?
We have our ways.
That was the first, I guess, big game for me, my first, coming out party. It was sophomore year, and I just had braces. I looked really young, and we were down, and I don't know, I just got hot and hit the last 8, 9 buckets, field goals, and you know, that game gave me a lot of confidence for the rest of my career in high school, and from then on, it just seems like it's been great.
I was talking with Doug Collins about this, and he put it this way. He said Grant is a protocol guy, and that you needed Joe Dumars and the other players to indicate to you that this was your team before you would assert that yourself because of your respect for protocol.
I've always had respect for others and my teammates, and you know, coming in here, and this was Joe's show, and I think this summer, this year, to get that approval, I guess, from him was important for me in order to take that next step as a leader of the Pistons.
Just about everyone likes to be liked, but did the whole image of Grant Hill, as presented last year, get a little old for you?
Yeah, it got old real fast. The whole nice guy thing, and, you know, people made so much about that. And to me, I thought about it a little bit. Is sports really that bad that if someone who's perceived as just a good person, so much is made of that? You know, I look at other athletes out there and the other players, people who I respect, who are solid citizens, good role models, whatever you want to call it, and they don't necessarily get the attention that I got last year. So I really don't know what to make of it. It was a wild year. We lost a lot of games, so that was crazy, and then a lot of things were being made of me. Can I save sports? I mean, it was kind of crazy.
Talking to some folks before the ball game tonight, they think this kid has a chance to be Michael Jordan.
Jerry Stackhouse said a while ago, you know, the NBA isn't all that tough. And then he said, I don't think anybody can stop me one-on-one. So the other night, Michael Jordan goes in there and goes for 48. Did that open your eyes a little bit?
Yeah, it opened my eyes and also told me, you know, young fella can't say those things about Michael. I don't know if Jerry said it or not, but every year there's a new Michael Jordan, and I guess, you know, I was it last year, and Jerry is it this year, and he's having a great year. And maybe because he went to Carolina, maybe because they've known each other in the off seasons, that Michael wanted to come out and show something to him, and he did. He did.
Do you think you're ruthless enough to be as great a player as you can be? Michael is ruthless. You know, he may be a nice guy, but he is ruthless competitively. He doesn't care if he shows other guys up. In fact, he may enjoy it in certain situations.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's Michael Jordan. So much has been made, you know, my rookie season about the comparison between us, but, you know, we have different games and we're different people, and am I ruthless enough? I guess that remains to be seen. You know, it's still early in my career. I guess towards the end of my career, I could probably answer that question a little better.
You played some pickup ball this past summer with Michael Jordan. What was the relationship like?
Surprisingly, respect. And when I say surprisingly, I mean, of course, I have a great deal of respect for him, but, you know, I sensed that there was respect that he had for me, and I don't know why, but he did. And you know, of course, we competed against one another in Los Angeles, but afterwards, you know, he sat down and talked to me and was, you know, trying to give me advice and asking me questions about all types of topics, and you know, it's just kind of neat when, you know, Michael Jordan gives you a little attention and wants to know how you feel about something. I felt like I finally arrived.
You know, it's not just image with this kid. There's something very genuine about him. He strikes me as legit.
Well, I think nobody questions Grant's credibility. I think he's mobile, agile, and hostile on the court, and pretty smooth off the court, too. And I think about his transition, you know, to the NBA, first year and second year. It lends a lot of credence to the value of going to a school for 4 years and being in a top program for 4 years. So I think guys like Marcus Camby and Tim Duncan could think about that.
Of course, each kid's financial situation varies, and some guys have to come out early whether they want to or not. Pete?
I don't know about you, Bob, but my goal this season is to do a feature for NBC without mentioning Michael Jordan. It's like it's impossible. But you know a guy is on the verge of greatness when he has an acknowledged bad game by everybody that it is a bad game, and he still gets almost a triple-double, 15 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, which is happening to him all the time. He fills up that stat sheet every night. And then you talk about how responsible he is and how humble he is, / sense of humor. Coming into this matchup with Jordan, he was the leading vote getter in the All-Star game that's coming up. And he said he wanted Michael to know that, nothing personal, Michael, I did vote for you.
And at the half, Jordan with 20 and Hill with half that at 10. The Bulls lead the Pistons by 15. We go back to Marvin Natt after these messages from your local station. We'll see you from here later in the day.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by Prudential. Live well, make a plan, be your own rock.
Tonight, before the Golden Globes, exclusive interviews, personal stories from Lisa Kudrow, Jimmy Smits, and more. The stars up for the Golden Globes, 7, 6 Central, NBC tonight.
Tuesday on Must-See TV, it's one of the wildest Frasers you've ever seen.
Run, Niles, run!
Then it's Third Rock from the Sun, NBC Tuesday's newest hit. Dick celebrates his birthday with an alien midlife crisis. And Sally makes a discovery.
What do you think it wants?
It's Third Rock from the Sun after Frasier on Must-See TV, NBC Tuesday.
Our December windstorm left thousands without power and caused millions of dollars in damage.
It is acting like a hurricane out here.
So when there was the threat of more powerful winds,
there's the part of the storm that is going to push on through.
The News Channel was first to warn you of the potential danger. We're glad the storm wasn't that serious.
Continues to be surprisingly calm here right now.
But when winter weather strikes, count on the News Channel to bring you more live coverage from more locations than anyone else. Northwest News Channel 8, your weather authority.
Proactivity results in an upward spiral of downsizing.
What? Man, this stuff is complicated. Luckily, business isn't always this tough. Take Office Max, the office product superstore. Easy. Over 6,000 office products, including great brand names like Keith Clark or BASF, at guaranteed low prices that won't make smoke come out of your accountant's ears. And hey, Office Max is a lot more fun than a 3-hour meeting. But then, so is a root canal. Office Max. We go to the max.
Join Steve Bartelstein weeknights for News Channel 8 Sports.
This is the Game of the Week, the NBA on NBC.
Back at the Palace of Auburn Hills, Marv Albert with Matt Guokas. The Chicago Bulls by 15 points over the Detroit Pistons. Matt, Detroit opened up on fire, hit 8 of their first 11, but since then they've hit only 8 of 29 shots.
Well, a combination of poor execution offensively by the Pistons, but give the Bulls defense credit for forcing it. And if Allen Houston or Joe Dumars do not get hot in this second half, this could be a big Chicago win.
Well, let's take a look at some of the numbers presented by Miller Lite. Chicago leading the NBA in field goal percentage at 49. Is 18 of 39 from the field, 46%. Detroit 16 of 40 overall. Michael Jordan doing it for the most part with jump shots, 7 of 13 for 20 points. 10 of those 13 were from the perimeter. And off the board, Chicago with the edge. Dennis Rodman with 7, 5 offensive rebounds. For the viewpoint of Detroit Piston head coach Doug Collins, let's go to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Marv. Doug, you've been successful in the first half, slowing the tempo down, but now you're down by 15 points. What kind of changes do you have to make?
Well, Ahmad, we gave him 10 offensive rebounds, which really hurt. We got the pace of the game back where we wanted it. It was a little bit too high for us in the first quarter. It was a 7-point game with about 2.5 minutes to go. I talked to the guys about this is when the Bulls really want to clamp you, and they hit us with an 8-0 spurt at the end of the half, which put us down by 15. But We have to be smart. We're not going to get into a track meet with them because we don't have their firepower. But we have to get it back little by little, and the third quarter is the quarter they really like to crush you. So we've got to come out and be aggressive. And Joe and Allen have to make some shots. They were 1 for 12 in the first half, so they start doubling teaming Otis Thorpe, and we have to make some perimeter shots.
All right, Doug, good luck to you in the second half. All right, back to you, Marv.
Matt, you know, that guy would make an excellent TV analyst.
I think you're right.
I'm not talking about Ahmad either.
In addition to handsome styling and a spacious interior, the Mitsubishi Galant offers numerous comforting features like dual airbags, side impact door beams, front and rear crumple zones, and an impact-protected fuel tank. It even protects itself with remote keyless security, all of which means you can feel secure in knowing you purchased the right car. The Galant. From Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles.
And this is a guy thing, right?
The all-new Tracer FX with its unique skin guard
Is this a sensitive part?
is designed to give a man a smooth shave with less irritation. Chic Tracer FX.
You the sensitive type? I like that.
Hi, I'm Emmett, and I'm a cowboy. This is my hat. These are my boots. These are my horses. This is where they graze. And this is my ranch. No matter whose brand is on the front gate. This is my territory. This is my zone. This is my planet.
You know Grant Hill. What a play by Grant Hill! You know Mitch Richmond. Richmond, too. And you know Reggie Miller.
Retreats to the three-point line and hits again.
Now join them on the road to glory. Tune in for an NBA special, Building a Contender, next Sunday.
Well, the 15-point lead is the biggest of the game for the Chicago Bulls, who are trying to make it a record of 34-3. I'll look at the leading scorers. Michael Jordan with 20 points. Good start for Luke Longley and Ron Harper. Scottie Pippen has 7. Pistons led by Otis Thorpe and Grant Hill. Allen Houston only 1 of 8 from the field. Thorpe able to bounce back from the donut the other night. 5 of 9 in the first half. Also 6 rebounds. And here is Hunter. Good box out by Longley. And Pippen able to elude Hunter and takes it all the way. Rebounded by Hill.
Well, the Bulls very much aware that the Pistons still don't want to get in an up and down. They'll take their breaks where they are, but they're going to stay home with the three-point shooters, Allen Houston and Lindsey. Because in a half-court game, that's the way that the Pistons can get back in with 3 points. They were only 2 for 6 in that first half as Dennis Rodman, Otis Thorpe laying some wood on each other here. Dennis Rodman.
And the foul called on Rodman, his second. A rookie from Georgetown who got off to the fast start. Don Reed is back on the floor. Played 9 minutes in the first half. Here's Thorpe. Reed with the follow.
And that's another way they can get back in the game, get missed shots and put them back in. That was a tough break for Don Reed, but Bulls a solid rebounding team, anchored, of course, by the best in the business, Dennis Rodman.
That's a 3 for Jordan. Michael Jordan from downtown. He now has 23 points, and that is his second three-pointer. So the Bulls now lead 57-39. Minute and a half gone by in the third. Grant Hill with 12 points. He's hit on 4 of 8.
Just inside the three-point line. Grant does not have a three-pointer yet. Excellent defensive play by Grant Hill on the steal from Pippen.
And here's Houston for 3. Rebounded by Thorpe. Bulls 57. And the Pistons 43. Allen Houston is now 2 of 9 from the field.
But he can't stop shooting, Martin. I'm sure Doug told him that at halftime. They need him to be aggressive offensively, take the threes when they're there, drive it to the goal if they get up into it.
Pippen. And that's a three-pointer. Scottie Pippen with 10, and the Bulls by 17.
Well, the Bulls just break your heart with Pippen and Jordan. They're so good at being able to drive to the basket that you have to respect that first. You back off defensively, and then they nail threes to kill you.
Showing us the hook shot. That's his fourth field goal. He's 4 of 5. Is 8 points. And another three.
Oh, they taste it. They feel it. They smell it. They want to put it in right here. They want to bury the Pistons in this early third quarter. Doug talked about it. This is when they used to do it with their defense and get layups. But with Jordan and Pippen shooting the ball so well, they can do it with the three.
And that's a backcourt violation. The ball goes back to the Bulls. Doug Collins trying to settle his club down.
Well, you'd like to be able to get up into Michael Jordan and challenge that shot. But Allen Houston with his hands all the way down, he's got to get up closer than that. Here, Grant Hill with his hands down. Just looking at Pippen, respecting the drive, and then not even getting them up on the attempted shot.
And the Bulls have now hit 8 of 14 from three-point range.
Got a wet spot. Let's go. Right here.
You missed the spot.
Thank you.
Normally, little Tommy Johnson wouldn't stand a chance against NBA star Grant Hill. But today, he's drinking Sprite.
You're in my world now, Hill.
Okay, so maybe Sprite won't make you a better athlete. But just to be sure, now we'll pit Tommy against sumo wrestler Katashi.
Good luck, kid.
It's a shape unlike any other. A liquid form that slips through the air like nothing else on Earth. The Eclipse from Mitsubishi. Don't let it slip away. See your dealer for great lease offers on all Eclipses, including turbo models.
Hurry into McDonald's, because right now, 2 big beefy quarter pounders with cheese are only $2. But remember, it's for a very limited time.
Are you sure this is the fastest way?
Oh, yeah. People all over are in a big hurry to get to McDonald's, because right now you can get 2 Morning Fresh bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits for only $2. But better step on it. They don't serve breakfast all day.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Sprite. Image is nothing. Thirst is everything. Obey your thirst. Sprite. By Reebok. Come see how the game is played on Planet Reebok. And by the red-hot Eclipse from Mitsubishi. The new thinking in automobiles.
Ahmad Rashad back at the Palace at Auburn Hills, and moments ago you saw Scottie Pippen taking a knee. It looked like something was seriously wrong with him, but he said that he just got the wind knocked out of him. He took an inadvertent elbow to the chest, got the wind knocked out of him, and he's fine. Marv?
9 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the third quarter, and the Bulls lead 63-45. Scottie Pippen obviously is all right. He has 15 points. And the Bulls have opened up a 20-point lead. Hunter and Houston at the guards with Hill, Thorpe, and Reed up front. First of 4 meetings this season between the Pistons and the Bulls. Bulls have won the last 12 games. Houston not able to hit. That was from downtown. Hunter able to recover.
Poor execution again by the Pistons. Get away with it with a second chance as Ron Harper continues to play solid defense. He had a terrific first half defensively with a couple of steals, a couple of blocked shots, and scored 8 points as well.
Beautiful move by Hill. Bulls trying to break, but the Pistons got back.
Just as I was talking about the excellent defense of Ron Harper, a little windburn on that one by Grant Hill as he blew by him.
Now Jordan posting up on Hunter. And Reed able to out-battle Rodman.
Oh, good work by Don Reed as it appeared Rodman had the inside position. Reed stayed with him.
That's the three for Hunter. His third from downtown. He has 9 points. Bulls by 15.
I'm sure Doug Collins in these timeouts is telling his team, let's just hang. Let's just hang around. If we can get this thing to 10-12 at the start of the fourth quarter, we can still do some business in the fourth.
And Houston pushing it down. Setting up Hunter for 3. A lot of long rebounds with the long-range shooting.
That spreads the floor a little bit, and that's the kind of gamble that you have to take. Normally, a guy like Grant Hill can penetrate and set up three-point shooters. Thorpe with post-up can set up three-point shooters.
And he'll try to do it off the dribble. Jordan getting down behind the group of foul. Yes, and it counts. He put the fake on Houston. And Michael to the line. That's 3 on Houston.
Well, you can't get back into a game when you're a little bit slow in transition defense, as Allen Houston finally got there. And it was almost a 1-on-4 situation, so they were back. But Michael is playing with so much confidence. Rodman was underneath the glass. He figures everything's falling right now. He doesn't care. 1-on-5, 1-on-10. Michael's got it going.
Bulls have an 18-point lead. 5 minutes remaining. I should say 5 minutes gone by in the third as the alley-oop works for Hill. 16 for Grant Hill. Chicago Bulls seeking their 11th consecutive win. They've won 4 straight on the road. Pippen for 3. Scottie Pippen is 4 of 6 from three-point land.
Set up by the beautiful offensive execution by the Bulls that time. Really spreading the floor right now with their triangle offense. Crisp execution, good passing, and the players are shooting the ball with rhythm and shooting it confidently.
Houston. And he is now 1 of 11.
Oh, Allen has such a nice stroke when he's wide open, but he's not getting open, not getting his feet under him. They're not getting good shots for him, and he's putting up terrible shots.
Jordan stepping back, and a 3-second violation is called.
The Bulls like to extend their offense and create open seams and open spaces. A little rub pick that time by Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman just ran right through Grant Hill. Should have been a foul. Doug Collins said, you got to get up on him. Coach, the man killed me, knocked me off. No way I can get through that screen. Somebody's got to help me.
Now Houston off the dribble, trying to set it up. And Houston penetrates. Yes, and it counts. Well, the jump shot not working for Allen Houston, so he took it to the basket, and the foul committed by Luke Longley.
You can see the frustration on the face of Allen Houston. The shots aren't going. He has improved his ability to take the ball to the basket. Takes a little bang here, but when he does take the ball to the basket, he shoots it almost every time. He doesn't make plays for other people when he does that. That's the next step for Allen Houston.
This is an uncharacteristic performance by Houston. Has been going so well, and the Bulls have seen it close up. He hit 7 three-pointers in a game last February against Chicago.
Well, February, I think, was the name before March. And March was when Michael Jordan showed up with a different team.
Rodman able to keep it alive for Longley.
Although we should say the Bulls did knock off the Pistons all 5 times they played them by an average of 16 points. So who knows when those 7 three-pointers came.
Also, Matt, this an unusual situation if the score holds up, because the Pistons have not been blown out this season.
And you're not going to get blown out when you only take 75 shots a game and keep the scores down in the high 80s, the 90s.
Houston not able to hit the jumper. Pippen for Rodman. Pass was off the mark, and the Pistons get it back.
It was, and that's the second time that Pippen has had Rodman coming in on fast breaks that he did not make good passes on. That one was behind him in the first half. He should have given him a bounce pass and didn't, because Dennis Rodman has excellent hands on finishing plays in the open floor, and the Bulls could take advantage of that as the season wears on.
So Allen Houston hits a jump shot. He is now 3 of 14 overall. He has 7 points. Allen Houston, in his 3rd season out of Tennessee, actually has one of the prettier jumpers in the NBA. Harper for three. The Bulls on fire from downtown. They are now 10 of 16. The most they've hit this season in a single game, 11. Most in the NBA this year. From three-point range, 15. Cleveland did it against Portland back in late December. Wild pass thrown, although saved. And let's see, it was deflected, or the officials looking at each other.
Well, I thought it was deflected. Dick Pavetta on the play of the ball down there, he wasn't sure, looked for help, and Ted Bernhardt at half court said it was a backcourt violation. I thought I saw a deflection. No, it doesn't really matter, so much what happens in this game for the Pistons, but I think Doug Collins doing an excellent job with Allen Houston, who's having a very tough game, but Doug is thinking of Allen Houston down the road, keeping his confidence up. When you're a jump shooter, you're going to miss a lot of shots, but you got to keep taking them, keep playing. He's got the green light, wants him to keep shooting the ball.
Dick Pavetta was just congratulated on the call by Dennis Rodman. Foul was called on Reed, and Dennis said, nice call. Here it is.
Well, Don Reed is not backing down on Dennis Rodman. This is why Doug Collins loves Don Reed, as those two have been banging away at it. Dennis Rodman looking at Dick Pavetta. Of course I should get the call. I'm the veteran.
Again, the three-pointer from Michael Jordan. He has 29 points.
That's why he's Michael. If you get up on him, he drives and creates something for himself or somebody else. You back off, he makes shots.
Timeout is taken by the Pistons. 3 minutes, 2 seconds to go in the third. Michael Jordan continuing the three-point onslaught by the Bulls. They've hit their last 6.
In addition to handsome styling and a spacious interior, the Mitsubishi Galant offers numerous comforting features like dual airbags, side impact door beams, front and rear crumple zones, and an impact-protected fuel tank. It even protects itself with remote keyless security, all of which means you can feel secure in knowing you purchased the right car. The Galant. From Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles.
4th and inches. Coach Bannon, he likes to punt.
Huh? No way. Oh! Check this out. Attention, Coach Bannon. Go for it. Be a man.
Oh, what do you know, Steve? They're going to go for it. Just a reminder, when you've got the great taste of an ice cold Miller Lite, life is good.
Do you like my new hat?
Kozak drops back to pass.
Jones is open in the end zone.
Throws it to Jones to drop the ball.
Bad call.
Should have punted. Yep.
Last year, nearly 8 million people had their lives turned upside down by unemployment. Hate to say it, but that's life. We're the first company that allows unemployed clients greater access to their annuity without a penalty. And that can help a lot until things get straightened out. That's New York Life, the company you keep.
NBC Tonight. Live at 8, 7 Central, the 53rd Golden Globe Awards. The biggest stars from Tom Hanks to Sharon Stone, Anthony Edwards to Vanessa Williams present awards for Best Actor, Actress, Comedy, and Drama in movies and television.
And the winner is...
The 53rd Annual Golden Globe Awards, live 8, 7 Central, NBC Tonight.
Well, at 35 years of age, Doug Collins was head coach of the Chicago Bulls following an all-star career with the Philadelphia 76ers. And the man to Doug's right, Phil Jackson, who was then an assistant coach with the Bulls. So Doug very familiar with this franchise. We talked about the Bulls and their success with Doug.
Chicago has a championship arrogance about them. And they have a feeling that at any time they can tighten up the screws and do what they have to do. So it's not so much physically what you have to do against the Bulls. I always feel like you have to stand up to the mental torment that they bring you, especially Michael and Scotty, because they're so great and they know that they can do whatever they want to do out on the floor.
Well, you know, Doug was so disappointed when he left the Chicago Bulls, but got active in the broadcasting thing, watched his son Chris and daughter Kelly grow up and got this opportunity. And Doug has been so professional about that. And stayed all those years living in Chicago, and you know, I'm really happy for him that he's got a great job right now, loves his owner here, Bill Davidson in Detroit, and really loves his young team right now.
Now, the broadcasting thing you refer to, is that what you are involved in? A broadcasting thing?
Is that what we call it, a thing? You know, the thing. Fun about it with Doug, I started out in broadcasting with Doug. We worked together on radio in Philadelphia. And
boy, he said despite that, he was able to, you know, make his move further in broadcasting. Otis Thorpe with 15 points, and the Bulls now lead 79-61. Now, wait a second. You did play-by-play, I understand, right? And,
I tried.
Able to hit?
I tried to emulate some of those great broadcasters from the New York area.
I see.
Failed miserably.
And the Bulls now lead 81-61. Just under 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Hill very quick to beat Longley off the head fake. Grant Hill has 18 points. Bulls were able to break this open in the second quarter. They led by 15 at the half. They've led by as many as 22. Crossover move by Jordan.
That time, better pressure by Allen Houston as he challenged Michael. Got up into him. Michael put the ball on the floor, kept him from getting to the basket. Doug Collins got on Allen Houston very early in the year. He wasn't playing much, wasn't getting a lot of time, and the reason was he wasn't getting after people defensively. And I'm sure they pointed to the Joe Dumars situation when Joe came to the Pistons from East State as an offensive player. Chuck Daly told him, the only way you're going to get to play here with Isaiah Thomas, Vinnie Johnson, is if you play people. Joe learned very quickly and has had a terrific career here in Detroit.
And Houston draws the foul as he tried to split his way through. Scottie Pippen picks it up. But look at Joe Dumars, who has started only 6 games this season. He has been coming off the bench. Also been bothered as of late by back spasms. So his playing time today will be down.
And it's, again, if the game gets close, if it gets, they need him at the end of the game because he's a three-point threat, a good ball handler. As the scoring has gone down, the minutes have gone down, and Joe always points out that all those years in Detroit, the championship years, and even the ones that were close championship years, playing all those playoff games, really took its toll on him.
So Michael Jordan getting a rest, departing with 29 points. The Bulls 81, and the Pistons 65. Marv Albert, Matt Gukas, and Ahmad Rashad from the Palace of Auburn Hills. Here's Scottie Pippen. And the Bulls now lead by 18. This is a busy week for the Bulls. They'll face the Knicks at Madison Square Garden in New York on Tuesday. Then they're home for 3 straight games. Phil Jackson's team going up against Vancouver, Miami, and Phoenix. The Suns next Sunday here on NBC. Hill coming up short. Pippen got a piece of it. Pippen saw Kukoc, who was surprised by the pass.
Sure, the people in New York looking forward to have Michael come in. That's where he had the 55. You're able to catch that on TNT on Tuesday. No doubt Danny Ainge will be in New York, probably with Bob Neal.
Shot clock down to 4. Final seconds of the third quarter. Curve for Kukoc. Down to 2 and 4/10 seconds. Hunter hesitated. Doug Collins said, hey, go that way. So after 3, it's the Chicago Bulls 85 and the Detroit Pistons 65. Scottie Pippen with 20 points, 13 of the 20 here in the third.
Emma?
The Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
Back in Detroit, this is the first of our NBA doubleheader. Coming up next, it'll be Game 2 with Shaquille O'Neal, Penny Hardaway, Dennis Scott, the Orlando Magic, in a rematch of last season's NBA Finals as they travel to Houston, going up against Hakeem and Clyde and the two-time defending NBA champion, Houston Rockets. That is next, right here on NBC Sports, followed by the Bob Hope Chrysler Classic.
This has been a rugged month for the Detroit Pistons. Only 3 home games and 9 on the road. And this is the last of the home games. You mentioned the first half, Marv. They go out for the Texas swing and then to Utah. So the Pistons are really going to have a difficult time holding their head above that 500 mark come All-Star break.
Make it worse, they played 3 games in 4 days against top quality competition. Fourth quarter is underway. Michael Jordan is back on the floor, as is Bill Wennington. So Bill Wennington with his first field goal attempt. And this matches Chicago's biggest lead. They are up 87-65. The Bulls hit 6 of 6 3-pointers in the third quarter. Leo Redlin with his second field goal. Michael Jordan is the high man with 29. He's hit 3 from downtown. His career high 7 3-pointers against Golden State back in 1990. And NBA fans recall the show he put on in the NBA Finals in 92 with the 6 against the Portland Trailblazers. 3-second violation against the Bulls.
Dennis Rodman getting caught in there. He has had a terrific career of being able to stay in that lane with the officials not calling it. He's very clever with it. Sometimes it looks like he's walking out the lane. He never leaves. And that's why he's such a good rebounder. He anticipates every shot to be missed. He's always thinking about position.
Hill with 20 points. And the Bulls now lead 87-69. Crowd chanting for Rodman to take the shot. And Kukoc fires another 3 for the Bulls. They are 12 for 18. And that is a season high 12 3-pointers for Chicago. They've also hit their last 7. That is amazing.
Well, they're getting so many open shots because of the penetration and the Pistons just not being able to get up and challenge these players, because when they do, they get beat off the dribble.
Here's Houston penetrating. And he'll go to the line. And Houston, who usually is an excellent finisher, he was able to add 8 inches to his vertical leap, working with the strength coach. And that certainly has contributed to his finishing touch, although he did not put that one down.
When he was coming out of Tennessee, where he played for his father, Wade, everybody was saying he's a little soft. He doesn't drive to the basket very much. Although some Tennessee games, I thought I saw him being very aggressive offensively, one of the top scorers in the history of the Southeast Conference. But he has improved his ability to drive, but he has that aloof demeanor, and sometimes people take that to mean he's not interested, he's not playing hard, but that's just Allen Houston. And Doug Collins is very happy with the way he's developing his all-around game.
Hill on the rebound, chased by Jordan, taking all the way, yes, and it counts. And that was Grant Hill at his best, holding the rebound down, going the distance, beating Jordan. Jordan trailing him, looking for the reach in to knock it away, and then Hill able to soar over Wennington.
Shaq and the Magic take on Hakeem and the Rockets next on NBC.
Taste runs in the family, brings you Miller Moments.
And today we look back at great moments. Another January meeting between the Bulls and Pistons, the 29th of January, 1983, and Kelly Tripucka set a Pistons team record for most points scored in a game. He lit up the Bulls for 56, leading the Pistons to a 128-126 victory. In recognition of this moment, Miller will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. Today's high scorer, Michael Jordan. He has 29 points on 10 of 20 from the field, 6 of 8 from the line, 3 3-pointers, also with 7 rebounds.
Well, we talked in the opening about why Michael's having such a terrific year. We said it was the conditioning. He really dedicated himself in the off-season. He was making a movie. He was out there working out every day with the weights, with conditioning, and playing basketball. I think what really drove Michael was the fact he was disappointed in the way that he came back last year, despite the fact he had some great numbers. But the way that he played in Game 1 against Orlando, getting the ball stolen by Nick Anderson, in Game 6 of being involved in losing a 12-point lead, Michael was really driven this summer to get back into it.
Well, he shot only 41% in 17 regular season games last season. That was not what he had in mind, but it shows how difficult, even for Michael Jordan, it is to just try and step in. 14 on the shot clock off the block shot there. You see last year averaged just under 27, but shot only 41%. Season that was a short season that was highlighted by the 55-point explosion against the Knicks. Otis Thorpe not happy.
Well, Michael Jordan trying to play basketball on baseball legs. It just doesn't happen, even for as great an athlete as Michael Jordan.
3 minutes gone by in the 4th quarter. Bulls by 17, and Jordan fires it up with the shot clock running down.
Now that shot was challenged by Joe Dumars as he was careful not to foul him, but he made Michael take a tough one.
And the Bulls finally missed the 3-point attempt. Nice move. But Thorpe could not put it down. Thorpe on the recovery. And a loose ball foul against the Pistons.
Well, Otis Thorpe continues to try to stay involved in and around the basket. Has those big hands to palm the ball. He's just not getting quite enough lift to dunk the ball. As Doug Collins said, if we're not going to make those shots, I don't know what's going to get in. But in the last sequence, Michael Jordan got caught underneath the basket, getting him arm wrestled, head wrestled, arm locked by Otis Thorpe. Michael doesn't want to be down there too often.
Thorpe was called for the foul, his 4th. Jordan's pass broken up by Hill. There's Houston with the hesitation move, and fouled by Kerr.
Calls on Steve Kerr. That's his first game.
It is a non-shooting foul. Pistons now have Dumars and Houston at the guards, although Hill handles the ball for the most part up front with Ratliff and Thorpe. This time, Thorpe does convert and the foul.
Now, Dickie Simpkins just into the game, not really ready defensively, getting caught behind Otis Thorpe. Tried to put the arms into him and push and lean, but nice pivot move by Otis Thorpe as he put the drop step on him to the baseline. Otis is working hard, but you can just see he's not his normal self as far as his legs are concerned, and that's a bad sign for Detroit.
18 for Thorpe, and the Bulls lead 90-76. And now Jordan being played by Hill, trying to post up.
It's a big stop here for Detroit if they can get it. Only down by 14. 8 minutes to go in this game. This is the way Detroit plays a lot of games.
Kept alive by Wellington. Rejected by Ratliff. Then he got a piece of the shot. Simpkins got a piece of that shot, and a foul is called.
Oh, and Doug Collins furious with referee Dick Bavetta as they glare at each other. What Doug is saying is, don't bail the guy out. I don't care who it is, Michael Jordan or anybody. That was not a good. They're going to go at it some more there as Dick Bavetta. And you know what? I think Doug is right. That was a great defensive sequence by Theo Ratliff, but Michael did just take a wild, wild shot and should not go to the free throw line, no matter even if he is a great player.
What a series of stops by Theo Ratliff, the 6'10" rookie from Wyoming. Here it is.
He got the block, he got the change, and now let's watch Michael. And it's hard to tell necessarily, but just by the reaction of the bench, who was right on top of that play, it appeared that Ratliff went straight up on the play. Actually, though, Ratliff missed the rebound initially, which started that whole sequence, and it would have been avoided. So that key stop did not come about.
Right or wrong, Doug Collins fortunate he was not hit with a technical by Dick Bavetta. Shot clock is down to 8. Travel called on Houston.
Well, a veteran official like Dick Bavetta will take a certain amount, I think if Doug keeps it up or goes after him one more time, then Doug will get teed up. But good restraint shown on the part of Dick Fabetta.
7 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in this fourth quarter. Now Kukoc backing his way. Good defensive work again by the Pistons. Jordan. Oh, beautiful turnaround by Michael Jordan.
You know, you say, here's Michael Jordan in a post-up situation. If he took the ball to the basket, he would get fouled. And there's a timeout now by Detroit.
33 for Jordan. 7 minutes left in the fourth.
Sometimes there's a game on my court.
Is brought to you by the cars and trucks 36 million people depend on every day. Genuine Chevrolet. By the U.S. Army. Learn how to get an edge on life. Be all you can be. And by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Stay cool.
7 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. The Bulls with a 94-76 lead as you see Michael Jordan hit on the turnaround, and Michael Jordan now with 33 points and looking to hit the 40 mark once again.
Well, Michael on those post-ups kind of helps you out defense by taking the fadeaway shot. The problem is he makes a lot out of it. Contrasting style would be Penny Hardaway, who kind of backs you in, uses his body, looking to get to the basket and get fouled. Michael used to do that a lot, still capable of doing it. He's trying to conserve some strength and energy.
And a foul on Simpkins. Dickie Simpkins making his first appearance here in the fourth quarter in his second season out of Providence, a #1 draft pick of the Bulls. Last season was a part-time starter earlier in the year.
Scottie Pippen going over to check out with Phil Jackson, seeing if they want to come down and help out Dickie Simpkins, who seems to be getting overpowered by Otis Thorpe.
Otis Thorpe now 2 of 4 from the line. The Pistons 11 of 17 at the foul line.
Well, the Pistons have gotten the kind of game that they felt they needed from Otis Thorpe, at least statistically. They got the usual Grant Hill type of performance, the 22 points, the 9 rebounds, the 6 assists, and just didn't get enough proficiency from Allen Houston, who has battled hard, just having an awful shooting day.
Now Jordan with the post-up on Dumars. Had to throw it out. Shot clock at 4. Down to 2. Kukoc. Tony Kukoc to the 3. He has 13 points, and the Bulls 13 of 21 from beyond the three-point line. Nice pass. A look away from Houston to set up Ratliff.
And that's what we were talking about earlier. That's how Allen Houston can take another jump in his game, and not only looking to do something for himself, but then finding an open teammate. Because Grant Hill, as the only creator, he has to do too much, and it's not going to work.
Yes, and it counts. Jordan doing it to Grant Hill. And Michael to the line. He has 35.
Here's that post up again, this time backing in a little bit, but you still see the fadeaway, and it makes sense against a good defensive player like Grant Hill to get away from the 6'7" long-arm Grant Hill. He had to take the fadeaway there. I always talk about Grant Hill's stats and what he does. He is a good, solid defensive player, and even was as a rookie last year.
Bulls lead 100-79. Grant Hill was saying earlier that he was going to not say anything that Michael Jordan could use against him. Michael always looking for motivation. And so Jerry Stackhouse can attest to. Apparently there might even have been a harmless quote. Stackhouse, the outstanding rookie for the 76ers, made the point that, you know, the NBA is a little easier than I thought.
Yeah.
And Michael took it personally and lit him up. 48 points.
Another Jordan rule, do not tug on that cape.
In fact, Hill was saying he was going to go over and apologize to Michael for leading in the All-Star voting. He was going to say it must be some kind of mistake.
And I voted for you, meaning Grant Hill.
Right. Here's Kerr. The Bulls shooting 52% from the field. They now lead 102-80.
Another guy I haven't been talking about much is Tony Kukoc. Everybody mentions the big three, Pippen, Jordan, and Robin, but Kukoc is a very valuable player on this team. Makes so many things happen, especially at second unit time. And he hasn't been complaining about being the sixth man this year. You can't when you're 33 and 3.
Another three-pointer. Steve Kerr makes it 14 of 22 from downtown for the Bulls. And a timeout call. We'll be right back.
Hey.
Akeem meets Shaq in a rematch of last year's NBA Finals. Next on NBC. Payne Stewart has a share of the...
Well, the Chicago Bulls going at a remarkable pace with a record of 33 and 3. They've won 10 straight. You look back, though, at the 3 championship Bulls teams of recent years. We talked about that with Michael Jordan and asked how does he compare this year's team to those 3 title ball clubs.
The 3 championship years, we had a really good rhythm there. And I mean, we had every component to this team fulfilled, and we fulfilled it every night. This team is hard to compare because we got 3 individual talents that really come and play every night, and they carry this team quite a bit. And whatever we get from our bench or from the other players makes us a better team. But back in the years of winning 3 championships, it wasn't that clear-cut 3 dominant player team. You know, you had a lot of players that brought in a different type of talent that made that unit more powerful. But it's an unfair comparison right now. I don't think we're as good as the 3 championship years.
And I think Michael is diplomatically saying we are not as strong in the middle as we were, as Nicky Simpkins finished one off when we had Bill Cartwright and Scott Williams and Stacey King. Not that they were big-time stat guys, but they did all the muscle stuff inside, which is so important. And also John Paxson and B.J. Armstrong. Steal by Michael.
Coming up on 4 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, and the Bulls are up 107 to 82. Also, this club, as well as they have played, and Michael made the point as we were talking about this earlier, Scottie Pippen with 22 points. They have not won the championship. I think before you can start measuring, well, as he pointed out, they have to win a title.
Of course, but nobody will let them do that yet because everybody wants to talk about it 3 months into the season. And can you win 70? And can you win your 4th championship?
Well, that's a good subject.
And you have to answer the questions and you have to talk about it. But as a team and as players, you don't talk about those things. Today you're worried about the Pistons. Tomorrow you're worried about getting ready for the Knicks. You can't be looking far down the road. Hey, one twist to the ankle, one knee, one back. And all of a sudden, things change very, very quickly, and players and coaches know that very, very well.
3 second violations, so the Pistons will get it back. Surprised Michael is still on the floor in a blowout here with 3:18 remaining. Let's Phil Jackson, aware of the point total, would like to see him hit 40 once again.
Well, I don't know about that. That does not make a lot of sense. Michael needs points like he's going to lead this league in scoring if he stays healthy. Unless Michael is saying he wants to stand out there, I don't think he's going to be out there too much longer.
Dumars. And the Bulls now lead 109-86. A terrific shooting performance by Chicago. They're just under 55% on 39 of 71. And they've hit 14 from downtown. 14 of 22. 9 of 11 in the second half. Here's Hill. The high this season for three-pointers in the NBA, 15. Cleveland did it against Portland in late December. The all-time record, most three-pointers in a game, 17 by Golden State in April of 95. Here's Dumars. Yes. So we come up on 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, and the Bulls are up 109-88. Timeout is taken by Chicago.
very different cities, 2 very different owners, 2 extraordinarily different coaches, 1 great rivalry. The best team in the business takes on the year's biggest game, plus football's Albert Achievement Awards, the Steelers, the Cowboys, Super Bowl 30. Coverage begins next Sunday at 3:30 Eastern on NBC. This is the NBA on NBC.
This is a big day of sports here on NBC. This is the first of our doubleheader coming up. Orlando and Houston from the Summit in Houston. The Orlando Magic and the Houston Rockets meeting in that terrific game on Christmas night in Orlando. And then the final round of the Bob Hope Chrysler Classic. Payne Stewart, Fred Couples are among the leaders. Final round coverage of the Bob Hope coming up right after the NBA on NBC later on today. With just under 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Judd Bushler back on the floor. The rookie from Alabama, Jason Caffey, has come on for Chicago. That's Caffey. Ratliff got a piece of it. Randy Brown has also checked in for the first time. So Michael Jordan departing with 36 points on 12 of 23 from the field, 9 of 11 from the line. Also 8 rebounds and 4 assists. Mark Macon, who just checked in, able to rebound on his miss and convert. So the Bulls now lead 109-90.
On that last defensive sequence by the Pistons, so Ratliff not only challenged the shot, but blocked the shot on the ball. Larry Nance used to do that quite a bit. A lot of the good shot blockers block off the ball, coming over to help out. Nice move inside by Jason Caffey. And as I said earlier, Doug Collins predicts that Ratliff will be the leading shot blocker in the league.
Theo had some impressive moments here this afternoon. Jordan with 36, Pippen 22, Kukoc 13, 11 apiece for Longley and Harper. An outstanding all-around performance by the Chicago Bulls. Caffey called for that foul. So the book closed on Michael. And he did it for the most part with the perimeter shot. Grant Hill leading Detroit with 24, 19 for Otis Thorpe, 16 for Allen Houston, who struggled with the shot. 5 of 18 from the field for Houston.
And we've seen in the past teams that slow it down, like Cleveland the last couple of years, would bother the Bulls with that slowdown. Doug Collins watches a lot of the Cleveland games, not that they have similar type personnel, but that they play the same style, and because that's the way they have to play. They're a middle-of-the-pack team.
I thought he'd be just checking the wardrobe of the Czar.
Always. He has not gone to the non-title.
No, it has been strongly advised that not to do that. It's not Mike to go. No. Ratliff with his 4th field goal. He's 4 of 5 from the field. The Bulls lead 111-93. We're down at 20 seconds remaining. So the Bulls will make it 11 in a row and a record of 34-3. Simpkins. Final seconds. The Chicago Bulls able to break it open in the second quarter. Here's Houston for 3. So Allen Houston hitting the 3-pointer. And the Bulls with a 111-96 win over the Pistons in the first of 4 meetings this season between the Chicago Bulls and the Detroit Pistons. The Bulls shooting 53% from the field, and they were 14 of 22 from downtown. Worst loss of the season for Detroit. We mentioned earlier this is a club that has not been blown out. The Pistons are now 19-18. They had won 5 straight at home coming into today. Michael Jordan is with Ahmad Rashad. Let's go to Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Marv. Michael, a shooting exhibition here tonight. As a team, you guys shot very well.
Yeah, I see we shot very well from the 3. I think, I guess the most important thing is that we felt comfortable with our shots within the system. And, you know, the guys are knocking down the shots, which opens up the defense a little bit more.
Having been around this team and watching you guys, it seems to me that even as well as you're playing, the competition is within. You guys are trying to see how much better you can play.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest motivation that we have right now is just to constantly get ourselves better. You know, we're going to be facing against teams that we're supposed to beat. and we have to somehow bring ourselves up to play to our level of basketball, the type of basketball we want to play. And, you know, that's a battle within ourselves a lot of times.
All right, return to New York on Tuesday night. I guess dinner's on you.
Yeah, well, I'll buy dinner.
All right, good luck, Michael. Let's go over to Marv, who's with Scottie Pippen.
All right, Ahmad, 22 points, 8 of 16 from the field for Scottie Pippen, along with 6 assists. We have been talking during the course of the telecast of that magic number 70 in terms of a goal for the Chicago Bulls. Is it something that is on your mind? And two-part question, Matt. Can there be too much pressure down the stretch, and can it take away from the playoff situation if you're thinking about it too much?
Well, that can happen, but I don't think that's happening with our ball club. I don't think we're really focusing on trying to win 70 games. We realize that it's a record that we're capable of getting, but, you know, we're not focusing on that right now. The thing that we're looking at now is to continue to get better night in and night out and take it one game at a time.
Scotty, in the past, your team has had some problems with teams that try to slow it down on you, control the pace. It looked like they were going to do it for a while and get back into the game. What is the Bulls' idea when teams do that to you?
Well, I think for us to really come down, you know, and really execute our half-court game. I mean, we're not going to be able to run up and down with every team, and we're not going to be able to match up for speed with every team. But, you know, we have to pick our places when we can run and when we cannot run.
Also, you guys were on fire from downtown. It was an extraordinary shooting exhibition. In fact, I had the feeling that both teams were laughing about it in the fourth quarter. You couldn't miss from three-point range.
Well, we normally come out in the third quarter. We try to get ourselves going, and, you know, that's a big quarter for us to really try to shift the momentum and, you know, start the second half and have the momentum on our side. And I came out the second half. I wanted to get some shots up and get us going, and I was able to do it.
All right, Scottie Pippen with an outstanding game. Michael Jordan leading the way. The Chicago Bulls make it 11 straight. They are 34-3 on the season. Now let's go to Bob Costas at our New York studio.
Okay.